Thank you all for being here today. I'd like to invite Pastor Maestro Evans to share his vocation with us.
My beloved brothers and sisters in Christ, Christ is in our midst. The newly departed servant of God, Tresja, was many things to many people. As such, she was a living model of the apostolic injunction to make oneself all things to all people, that one might, by all means possible, save some. In the Gospel of John, the Lord says, "My Father is working still, and I am working." Tresja also was indeed a worker. Now Tresja herself finds that sleep that brings her closer to the universal resurrection, and the witness of her ministry and her faithfulness also confirms that reality in our own hearts and minds. I am confident that the Lord, who is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death, has received Tresja into paradise and the eternal rejoicing of the heavenly host. May Tresja find rest in the mansions of heaven, and may her memory be eternal.
Thank you, Pastor Evans. I'd now like to invite forward three speakers who will make comments about Tresja's time with us and her part of the community. Ambassador Sissa will speak first. That'll be followed by Administrator Power, and then the DART team leader, Tim Callahan. Ambassador Sissa.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Maestro, for the DART team who are not aware. Maestro Evans, Dr. Maestro Evans, is our acting Centers for Disease Control, CDC director. So, Administrator Power, Admiral Fowler, DART colleagues, and all of our U.S. Embassy Prince Permanent Party folks who are standing in the back here. First of all, our hearts are broken for Tresja's family. We grieve with Tresja's family, her husband Nick and her daughter Sophia, and as a mother of two daughters and a grandmother of one little granddaughter, I could not stop thinking about Sophia. But of course, Tresja's family is all you guys, too. And we here at Embassy Port-au-Prince, we are a family, and we are a community. And you all, the DART team, I want to let Administrator Power and Sarah Charles, the Assistant Administrator for the Bureau of Humanitarian Assistance, I want you to know that we have such a strong sense of family and such a strong sense of community here that it doesn't matter if somebody comes in on a DART TDY, or if you're a member of our permanent party, U.S. staff, Haitian staff, we are all a family and we are all a community. So when Tresja arrived with the DART team on Sunday, the day after the earthquake, the 15th, she became part of our embassy family and part of our embassy community. And when she tragically collapsed, she was with her DART family, she was with her DART colleagues over at the Oasis, our restaurant at our housing compound. And the DART family and the embassy family stepped in to respond in this emergency. I know the DART team members started immediately with first aid and urgent care. The Oasis staff jumped in to provide assistance. Our Marines got their medical staff engaged. The Urban Search and Rescue, Fairfax County folks jumped right in with their expert assistance. Our Marine Security Guard here at Post 1 got our Foreign Service Nurse Practitioner, Carol Borg, who was on her next to the last night at Post after 2 years of service here. And Rich Peterson, our management counselor, standing back there, Carol Borg, our nurse practitioner, the search and rescue medics, kept the CPR up, and Lieutenant Steele, our U.S. Coast Guard liaison officer, in some miracle got Guantanamo to send airlift to Haiti and then on to Florida. So I want to just let you know that this community, this family our regional security officer, our mobile guard unit went to the gates of the airport, opened up the gates. It was the middle of the night, but so many people working together because we are a family. And in the days since Tresja's tragic passing, our embassy family, our embassy community has tried its level best to show support for our DART colleagues. Lunches delivered, a potluck organized for this weekend, baked goods being dropped off. We're here for you spirit because we are a family and we are a community. Tresja was a part of our community. You are a part of our community. We mourn alongside you. We want you to know that. And with that, I would like to turn the mic over to Administrator Powell, a big member of our community.
Thank you, Pastor Sisson. Thanks to all of you for coming out. Just to say, Ambassador, that sense of family that you described is inculcated by a warm, inclusive, and formidable leader. And that family, that sense, and the way it was lived here on Tresja's behalf doesn't happen by accident. So just thank you so much. Thank you also, Admiral. You talk a lot about partnership and have from the first time we met, which was over Zoom right after the earthquake. But again, partnerships are not born, they are built. And they are built by people who come with a disposition to listen, to embrace contradiction, to be curious, to self-correct, and to move out and to care. And that is the spirit of partnership that you brought to this whole effort, and that your team brought to trying to save Tresja. So thank you so much. The fact that all of you here with us today says just an enormous amount about you, about your concern for others, your willingness to sacrifice, your spirit of service, and your devotion to our shared mission. Each of you are part of this earthquake response by the incredible embassy and USA teams. Each of you were working around the clock without complaint. I haven't heard one complaint. I'm always asking, does anybody have any complaints? Not very many. You're taking considerable risk. Nothing is without risk here. Given the insecurity, given the access challenges, given the risk of natural disaster on any given day. And you're here to deliver relief to people who, frankly, for all of our efforts to build capacity here, would have no place else to turn without you showing up to them. That would be true, what I just said, of any DART responding to just about any crisis in any part of the world. That is what DARTs do. That is what USAID's Bureau of Humanitarian Affairs does. That is what our military brothers and sisters do all the time. This is a calling, and that level of dedication is what this line of work demands. But this is different. It really is different. On top of the whirlwind of heartbreak and trauma that accompanies any crisis response, each of you are now bearing the very heavy weight of losing a beloved colleague. Some of you knew Tresja for a long time and knew her deeply across previous tours. Some of you knew her as both an operational leader and a day-to-day mentor. She had a gift for mentorship. Some of you only knew her in her final days and hours, but I know that she left an indelible impression on all of us. Her loss is a weight that I imagine feels at times just too heavy to bear. But in speaking with her colleagues around the world, and with some of you here speaking with her loved ones, speaking to Nick specifically, and seeing all of you here today, I kind of get how you are bearing this weight. You are bearing this weight together as a family. You lean on each other and you draw strength from one another. And by doing that, whether we are near, as we are lucky enough to be today, or whether we return to being far, as some of us will tomorrow, you give us strength. You give us strength not just for this mission, but for the kinds of missions also being undertaken in places like Afghanistan, where the heartbreak seems to know no bounds. You are inspiring an agency. You are inspiring your colleagues across the government. You are inspiring your country, and you are making us all proud. You are also giving solace to Nick, a grieving husband, who is doing all he can to shield and protect his little girl, Sophia, from this monumental loss. Nick is focused on what you're doing. He's channeling Tresja, who would be focused on what you are doing, be at the heart of what you are doing. And that is itself offers at least some relief to him at this excruciating time. You do certainly not need me to remind you who you do this work for. You don't do this work for yourselves, you do it for the people you serve. The people I met today in Manish, who will benefit because of your work, because of your ability to put one foot in front of the other and channel your grief and lean on this family to continue to support people who are counting on us. But I think we all know as well that this response is for someone else. And so please join me in a moment of silence for Tresja.
I also want to echo my thanks, and I guess I just want to start by asking people to continue to pray and think about Nick and Sophia. As the administrator said, I think Tresja felt the same way I do. It's a privilege to be an adult because we're helping people. What I decided to do was talk to a lot of colleagues. I've known Tresja for 16 years. I won't forget, I arrived here, I think 4:30 Wednesday afternoon. She was one of the first people I saw. A big hug. But I wanted to just say a couple of words based on what people have talked to me the last couple of days. She was a daughter. She was a partner. Her and Nick were married 19 years. She was a mother and she was a friend. When I asked people about words they wanted me to share, compassionate, kind, caring, what mattered to her family, her faith, her church. A phrase I wanted to share that came up a couple of times, she was very Minnesota. My wife was born in Minnesota and I kind of knew what that meant, so I checked with quite a bit. But she was a humanitarian. She worked hard, she was a field worker, and she really wanted to come here to Haiti to help. Not sure if folks know she wasn't scheduled to come here. Nick was going to Ukraine, but after the earthquake, they talked as a couple, and she came here to help the people of Haiti. I don't really have any words enough to thank everybody in this room. The embassy team, as the ambassador said, who in the middle of the night helped us and worked with us for Tresja to get her to the United States. Our military colleagues. It was amazing to do that. The USAID team here, both here and also in Washington. I was on the phone in the middle of the night, both with Sarah and other colleagues. I was in touch with Nick. I was in touch with her mother. and her stepdad. So again, there's just not enough words to say thank you for everything everybody did. I know Tresja's proud of the work everyone here is doing for the people of Haiti. And one of the things that her close friends asked me to end with is a phrase that meant a lot to her in church, and I'm going to do that right now. May her memory be eternal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador and Administrator Tim, for those comforting and poignant remarks. I hope they will bring comfort to Nick and his daughter. We are going to make a recording of this ceremony for them available as well. I'd now like to invite the U.S. Marines from the embassy forward to perform a flag folding and retirement ceremony. The flag they will be retiring was the flag that was flying the day that Tresja became ill, and the flag that was flying the day that she passed away. So please rise as we go through this ceremony. The Marines have presented the flag to Administrator Powell, who in turn has given it to the Assistant to the Administrator, Senator Charles, who will be taking the flag from Port-au-Prince to Minnesota to join the family in a vigil and participate in the funeral this weekend in Minnesota. Sarah, thank you for doing that for all of us, and thank you to everyone who has participated today. One final word of thanks to everyone for joining us, and a tremendous round of thanks for the embassy team for putting this wonderful ceremony together for us all. Thank you.